I love Star Trek, the original series, but it's time to admit every single season finale was bad. I adore Star Trek, the original series. It's the reason I ever cared about warp drive, phasers, and starship captains with questionable shirt-ripping habits. It's the root of so much sci-fi storytelling DNA, an optimistic vision of the future that, despite budget limitations and the occasional paper match boulder, still feels thrilling and heartfelt. But there's something I have to confess, something that's been gnawing at me for years. It's a truth I think many longtime Trekkies have quietly known but haven't wanted to say out loud. Every single Star Trek, the original series season finale was bad. Not just a little disappointing. Not just didn't stick the landing. I mean objectively, structurally, and thematically bad, especially when you compare them to the show's many brilliant episodes in the middle of its runs. This isn't a casual nitpick about pacing or effects. We're talking about a pattern, a track record of underwhelming choices for the final episode of each season. And given TOS only ran for 3 seasons, that's a pretty clean sweep of finales that didn't deliver the satisfying sense of closure you'd expect. So let's boldly go season by season and talk about why TOS couldn't stick a finale if the Enterprise's warp core depended on it. Season 1 finale Operation Annihilate. April 13, 1967. On paper, Operation Annihilate has the makings of a tense, high-stakes episode. The Enterprise arrives at a colony where strange flying parasites are causing mass madness. The crew faces a deadly infection, and the danger quickly becomes personal when Kirk's brother and sister-in-law are found dead, and his nephew is gravely ill. Sounds intense, right? It could have been an emotional powerhouse, the parasites could have been a metaphor for societal hysteria, grief, or even Cold War paranoia. Instead, what we get is a rushed monster of the week story where the final boss is essentially a giant prop that looks like a flattened brain someone left in the sun too long. The science is also painfully flimsy, even by 1960s Trek standards. The solution to killing the parasites? Blast them with light. Not just any light, intense, blinding light, which nearly kills Spock in the process. The problem is resolved almost as abruptly as it's introduced, with no real follow-through on the trauma of losing family or the deeper implications for the Federation. As a season finale, it's not just underwhelming, it's forgettable. Imagine ending the groundbreaking first season of TOS on a story that doesn't even make most top 20 episode lists. That's what happened. Season 2 finale assignment, Earth, March 29, 1968. Assignment. Earth isn't even a real season finale, it's a backdoor pilot for a completely different show. The episode drops us into the 20th century, where the Enterprise is observing Earth's history and encounters Gary 7, a mysterious human raised by aliens to prevent planetary disasters. He's accompanied by a black cat, who may or may not be an alien in disguise. What follows is a light espionage romp with some slapstick moments and a hint of Cold War tension. The problem? It's barely a Star Trek episode. The crew are passengers in their own story, reduced to supporting roles in Gary 7's adventures. Kirk and Spock spend most of their time just watching him do things. It's as if someone hijacked Star Trek for 50 minutes to run a Gary 7 test episode, and then just tacked it onto the end of Season 2. There's no thematic wrap-up for the season, no big moral lesson that ties into the crew's ongoing mission. No farewell to any major character arcs. The episode's tone is breezy, which isn't inherently bad, but it makes for a bizarrely anticlimactic season send-off. It's like if Game of Thrones ended a season with a 45-minute teaser for a spin-off about hot pie opening a bakery. Season 3 finale Turnabout Intruder, June 3, 1969. The infamous Turnabout Intruder. If Operation Annihilate was forgettable an assignment, Earth was irrelevant, this one was actively damaging. In the episode, Dr. Janice Lester, a former lover of Kirk's, uses ancient alien technology to swap bodies with him, taking over command of the Enterprise. Her motivation? Starfleet doesn't allow women to be starship captains. The story plays this straight, as if this absurd rule exists in the Star Trek future despite the fact we've seen female commanders before. The plot quickly devolves into a hammy Kirk but not Kirk performance, with William Shatner chewing the scenery as Janice in Kirk's body, delivering over-the-top tantrums and erratic orders. The rest of the crew somehow take way too long to realize something is wrong, even though Kirk is practically screaming, "I am a completely different person." As the series finale of the original series, it's a disaster. Instead of ending on a note of unity, exploration, or moral vision, we get an outdated gender politics subplot, a body swap gimmick, and a strange sense of pettiness. The message is muddled and regressive, leaving a bad taste for what was otherwise a revolutionary sci-fi show. Why were the finales so weak? It's tempting to blame these bad finales entirely on production circumstances. And yes, there were a few key factors. Broadcast scheduling in the 1960s, TV seasons weren't planned with finale fever in mind. The concept of a big, climactic ending didn't really take hold until the late 70s and 80s. Episodes aired in whatever order networks thought would get ratings. Sometimes the finale wasn't even intended to be the last one filmed. Episodic structure, TOS was highly episodic. With no ongoing season arcs, there was no need to build to a final payoff. Every week was a reset button. Budget and production stress, each season often limped to the finish line with reduced budgets and recycled sets. By the time they reached the end, they were often making do with less. All that said, other shows of the era still managed to deliver strong last episodes of a season. The truth is, TOS just didn't prioritize season finales at all. Missed opportunities. The frustrating part is that each season of TOS had episodes that would have made far better finales. Imagine if Season 1 had ended with the city on the edge of forever, a tragic, beautiful time travel story that showcased the stakes of exploration and the moral choices of the crew. Season 2 closed with the ultimate computer, a perfect mix of action, philosophy, and a strong character arc for Kirk as he proves that human intuition still matters in the age of machines. Season 3 wrapped with the Tholian web, eerie, tense, and steeped in loyalty and mystery, offering a sense of hope even in danger. If those episodes had been finales, TOS might have a very different reputation when it comes to season endings. The modern perspective. Today, we expect season finales to be events. There where shows drop emotional bombs, reveal shocking twists, and leave us counting down to the next premiere. Star Trek itself has evolved to embrace that. Think of the best of both worlds TNG, Call to Arms DS9, or Scorpion Voyager. Even Discovery and Strange New Worlds make a point of ending with a bang. By contrast, the TOS finales feel like episodes that just happen to air last. There's no sense of closing chapter or moment to remember. And because Star Trek is a franchise that thrives on legacy, the fact that TOS's final impressions each season were so lackluster is kind of a shame. Loving TOS anyway. Here's the thing, pointing out that every TOS finale was bad doesn't make me love the series any less. In some ways, it's almost charming, a reminder of a TV era where nobody thought about finale hype. The heart of TOS isn't in its finales, it's in the dozens of inventive, heart,